Alrighty, everybody. Radio Tekkers, special report, special interview here with the one, the only Rob Wilkins from Fightful. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Tanner. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well, man. And thank you first so much for coming on the show and just taking time out of your day to come and chat with me here. You and I've had some pretty cool talks before, and it's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Yeah, it was like when you asked, I was like, absolutely. You name the time and place, and I'm like, I'll be there, and I'm happy to be here because, like you said, we've had a lot of fun over the times with our talks and stuff, and here we are again. So
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So maybe I guess a little bit of context for this show here. Yeah, I feel like you're one of wrestling Twitter's best and most knowledgeable personalities out there. You've been working with Fightful for quite a long time. But back a few weeks ago, maybe months now, I guess, you were posting that you were starting to hit the gym
yeah,
and really kind of make some lifestyle choices that I think were really really exceptional. And you've been making some really killer progress. You've been giving us updates on there, and I wanted us to talk about it. Uh, so
yeah.
first, I guess how are you feeling? Today, did you go to the gym or anything?
Yep, absolutely. I was there. Depending on when this airs. Today is Tuesday, so um, Tuesday's one of our. I go with a friend who used to be a trainer, so I'm lucky there. But Tuesdays are light day, so we use like some resistant bands and do a little bit of lifting, but not too much. So today's a light day. Wednesday is usually the day where I'm dead, but I'm there Monday through Friday, usually 8 in the morning till about almost 10 a.m. So I'm there for quite a while, and it's been a blast for me. It was something I was worried about at first because I haven't really, I'll be honest, I haven't been in a gym on a regular basis since high school, and to be in there when I was in high school, there was a period of time where I absolutely loved going in, like to weightlifting and stuff like that. But and I knew eventually if I just kept it up, I would get that feeling back where I liked going, and it did not take long at all to get that feeling back. So now I absolutely love it. It's been great. It's hard work. That's one thing for sure. Because I is the one thing I absolutely hate is sweating. I hate sweating. I don't think anybody says I like sweating. I know that, um, but it's one of those things I just can't stand it. But it's part of the job for it.
Mm.
It's a good thing, and I know it's working because of clothes that I wear. I've had to spend a lot of money recently just to get some new shirts and stuff like that that'll fit, and new jeans and new belts, and it's like, okay, this is, I mean, there's a positive obviously, but there's also like, whoops, like the money wise. But I'd rather be getting healthier, and there's been some good things. I've been sleeping better, which is a big thing, and it's I can't really, I just want to keep going with it, so that's just gonna keeping on.
Yeah, man. Well, and we definitely want to talk about what your regimens look like at the gym, because obviously I'm a big gym goer. I believe in workouts and fitness, and I want to hear what they have you doing. But I guess let's add a little bit more context here. So tell us a bit about, I guess, where or I guess maybe how you got to where we are today with you taking this journey. Give the folks a little bit of context here as to why you're on this journey and what inspired you to make these lifestyle choices.
Yeah, back in well, it goes back a ways. So back in 2000 and probably 10 or 11, it I figured out, like, after going to like the doctors and stuff like that, I realized I was depressed, and the after realizing I was depressed, I started seeing a therapist, and my goal was just for like self care, try to get better that way. I didn't care about the weight thing, but I knew obviously weight played a big factor. But um, I was naive, thinking that if I could just be happier, that's all that mattered. And over time, I realized that I was still miserable with things, and it got really bad. I, I contemplated suicide, and I um, because I was just miserable, and life was not good for me, and I just wanted to keep after that. After that day that I had a really bad day, and the day I contemplated suicide, I ended up not doing it. And I see this, it's the greatest mistake of my life, because I was close, but I didn't do it. Do I regret everything that happened that day? To an extent, but I know if it wouldn't have happened, I don't know where I'd be now. Like what it's so there was a period of time where I hated everything in my life. I hated my life. I hated myself. So it took me a while, and then about probably 2017, 2018, early around then, like I was realizing, I'm like, you know what? I just need to try to cut back on my eating. Like I used food as a comfort, um, and the highest weight that I know I weighed was over 538 pounds. So I think it was like right at five. Well, it was 538, so it wasn't over 538. But and I just realized that I needed to cut back, and I figured if I cut back, maybe I would start feeling better again. Um, and I just literally did that over time, and and then there was a time where I stopped in 2020, early 2020. I saw a picture of myself by my niece, and I just absolutely just I just did not like the way I looked in it. I was just big. My shirt was tight. My hair, like it was not a good picture. It just made me look. It made me look awful. It made me just. I was just like, ugh. That's how I felt, and I decided that was it. I'm cutting back. I'm cutting back on the food. I'm not gonna spend so much money at the drive-through. I'm not gonna go to the drive-throughs as much. I mean, I can't tell you now the last time I went through um, a drive-through other than maybe like Subway. Like I'll go to Subway and get a salad or a sandwich, but even the sandwich, I can't sometimes like finish it all now because I slow down with my chewing, and I did a lot of research on my own on Facebook. I did research on, and I avoid Facebook like the plague, but I did go on there to see what other people have done. I watched YouTube videos because I realized I've seen dietitians over the years, but I realized that they can tell me what to do, but I need to. I'm one of those guys that I need to relate to people.
Mm.
I need to relate better. Like that was how I was in school. Um, like all my life in school, like I needed to be interested in things. Like it had to. If I was interested in it, I would do great at it. If it was just boring to me, I was not. It was just a bad experience, and um, that's when I realized I'm like I just need to find people that have been in my like that have the same like problem I do. Like they just
Mm.
I want to hear their thing. I don't want to hear. I mean, these people are qualified by all means. They've helped a ton of people out, and that's perfect. And I have learned things from dietitians, but it just didn't it just didn't register with me as well. So I went with the I would rather try to see what it did with somebody that maybe lived in San Francisco that basically was in my shoes, and I saw how they did it, and I I just kept doing that and kept watching what I would eat. Take in less sugar. I mean, this past October is when I stopped drinking soft drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Like I cut that out, and I don't know how much weight I lost after that first month of that. And
Yeah.
I haven't had a drink of Coca-Cola or anything like that since December. I tried one drink in December, and it was like, ugh, this sucks, and put it away. And now I drink probably 80% water and 20% tea and a cup of coffee here and there. But um,
That's good.
yeah, so I've been good. And
Well,
it's just yeah.
with soda especially, and I've heard this from both men and women, but especially men. Cutting out soda is an amazing, a transformative thing in and of itself, right? Trying to just cut out all that extra sugar and stuff, and especially if you start going down that path. Cutting out all the extra sugar, and you try to go back and have a Coke or a Pepsi or something like that. That initial sugar, rush, it's almost too sweet. So yeah, I can definitely understand where you're coming from in that regard. You touched on needing the ability to relate to people, and I think that's a big part of why you and I are here talking about this now. I guess when it comes to I guess your research into this and who you were in these videos that you found on YouTube or just kind of just doing peripheral internet searches in and of itself. I guess did you find who did you find in particular that you really kind of like stuck with and was relating to? Because I mean, there's a whole lot of there's a whole subsection of YouTube that's all about fitness and lifestyle, people out there.
It's a shame that I don't remember these people. I didn't like write them down. I just put like I would just do searches. Like
Okay.
I would put what I would do to give you an example is I would type in I lost 250 pounds, like stuff like that, and I would then watch their videos, and they would show their before and after pictures, and they would say what they would do, and then I would just kind of listen to them, and it was more motivation than anything for me. It was, and like I would see like some guys that were even bigger than me. Like there was one guy that was I think 600 and something pounds. I think he said, and he he's below 300 pounds now, and he's married and has a beautiful wife and two kids, and I'm I'm single, and it's like that's part of the reason. It's part of the reason why I wanted to get healthier, because being a single when you're 40 years old sucks. um, so I mean, that plays a huge part in me wanting to get better, healthier, and in better shape. Uh, and one day I'll go back and try to find these people and maybe send them a message saying thank you, you helped me a lot, and I might do that before I even like forget that or forget what they look like, because I know once I see them I'll remember. But yeah, it's it was something though, like just getting to that point where before we went on there I told you there was one day that I just was having just a really really bad day, and that that day it was kind of like I just had a moment where I realized whatever I'm waiting for, like even though I was losing a ton of weight, whatever it was, whatever I was waiting for, I needed to go get it. It wasn't just going to happen. So I was like, if I want to lose weight faster, I got to get into the gym. And that's what I did. I remember when I was driving, like when I made that decision, I was driving by the gym. I was running an errand, and I was like, oh, you know what? I'll do that on the way back. And I all of a sudden just like, you know what? If you don't do it now, you're not going to do it, because I know how I am. And I just took a right turn without turning on that blinker. And I mean, thankfully there was nobody around, but it was just like pulled right into that parking lot and just went in and paid for my membership and walked out and went there a day and a half later and started working out. And
So
rest was
is
history.
this a? I'm sorry. Is this a local gym? Like, so
Yeah,
where are you getting your start at? Is it like a Gold's or like a
it's a
local
place.
gym or?
Yeah, it's a place called Fitness for 10. So just fitness, then FOR 10. They have a it's a really cheap gym membership. Like it starts at $10. I have like a medium package that they have where um like it gives me access to a VIP like studio. That way I don't have to be with the little people. No, I'm kidding. So I can just go into this like studio if I want it. You don't have to wait for like basically the equipment is the way I look at it. Um and then you also have access to like their like hydro massage machine that they have and
Oh,
stuff like that. And they have red light therapy. So it pays for itself. So for me, so
that's
um
pretty cool.
yeah. So it works great.
So as far as your regimen goes, I mean, do you have like a trainer there at that gym who's kind of like like
Um
walking you through this, or do you have
nope.
like a set plan of some sort?
Yeah, I follow. So the person I go with somebody every morning. One of my best friends. His name's Jeff, and he
Shout
he
out
actually,
Jeff.
yeah, he actually used to be a trainer at this gym.
Oh,
But he doesn't work there anymore, and he doesn't necessarily train me anymore. But he 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 works out with me, um and we and basically, I guess in a way, he kind of is a trainer. He tells me like you should do this many reps, but he'll let me be on my own and do things he doesn't, and I keep track of everything that I do,
mm-hmm.
um, and he's around. So if I have questions or if I look at a machine, like what in the hell does this thing do? Like there's been times where I'm like, I don't think that doesn't look safe. um, so there'll be times where he'll tell me what it does, and it's like, okay, yeah, I can't do that yet. So I'll I use him as a guide. But yeah, I'm lucky there that I have somebody I can lean into and um, ask questions, and he's been awesome, and he's a big part of where I'm at now.
Well, that's cool, man. And y'all kind of just go every morning and
Yep.
kind of just hammer it out. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
8 a.m. like Monday through Friday, about 8 a.m. to almost 10 a.m. 8:15 usually is when we get started to about almost 10 a.m. And so I'm in there for an hour and a half, and usually Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays I'm usually just drenched, and and Tuesdays and Thursdays are somewhat light days, but I'm still usually like miserable by the time I leave. It's like, okay, and that's the way I look at it. If I'm miserable when I'm leaving,
Yeah,
that's a good thing,
yeah.
because
No
I
pain,
know
no gain.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. So and I haven't had like any issues, like no injuries. Like I was kind of worried about like back stuff, but I've been good about following like directions, like and I've been one of those guys where if I don't know how to use a machine and I'll watch a YouTube video clip like quick and just kind of okay, so that's how I do it where I don't hurt my back, and it's been good, and I'll do like uh just a wide variety of things. We do like there are well, just some like stuff that Arnold Schwarzenegger invented. They're called like Arnie's. We've done like stuff like that. We've done uh, Bulgarian deadlift, just regular deadlifts, shoulder shrugs where you're just holding big weights and doing stuff like that. And, I don't do much cardio, which is nice because I don't like doing cardio. But I do.
Yeah.
I start out with cardio. I do about 10 minutes of cardio in the morning, and I just ride a bike. And um, there's always these sweet old ladies right beside me, like in the morning, just talking about what they're going to do for their day, and it's it's usually fun, and just it's fun overhearing them talk because they like to gossip. It's rather entertaining for me just to just keep doing what I'm doing and hear them going off. And it's like you guys should be on wrestling Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say that I'm a huge fan of doing the cardio either, but I do hold myself to at least, well, I should say at least as far as running goes, I will get on the elliptical for about 5 to 10 minutes or
Yeah.
so just to get warmed up, and then then hit the weights whenever I'm going to
Yep.
the gym. I will say I love swimming. Swimming's
Oh,
amazing.
yeah. That's what I would love to have access to a good pool like the. I have a YMCA that's not too far, but just like right now with it being like school out, and it's just like, nope, too many kids.
For sure.
So
So you mentioned that that you keep track, like you record your workouts. How are you doing that? I mean, a lot of old school dudes will put it on just pen and paper, and other people are
that's
using apps.
yeah.
What
I
do you prefer?
decided to actually do a pen and paper. The reason why is because um, I would like because I think it's easier for me to see the progress. Like I can always go in my app and or go into an app and do that, but um, I like actually writing it out. That way I can see like how much I've done, and
Hmm.
it looks like a good like book that maybe one day like I won't throw it out. I'll keep it and just show myself like how what I've done and how like the weights like I've gone up in weights. Um, I mean when I started I was just because we wanted to take things slow because of like my high blood pressure. I was just starting out with just the bar, like just doing weights with the bar. Like I wasn't didn't add weights or anything. I was just doing bench press with the bar, and then we added 20 pounds to it. Then we added another 20 pounds to it, and just kept going. And now um, I'm I think I'm at one since I started. I actually haven't done any bench press this week, but or today's only Tuesday, but I didn't do much last week. But I think I think I'm right now. I'm close to 145, one maybe 155. So it's gone up.
That's good.
I would have to look at the book because I just don't remember. It's my my buddy that I work out with. He has a joke that, it's not a joke. He said he saw a shirt is he's like the best way, like it's somebody doing math, but they're doing it by weights, and that's
Uh-huh.
pretty much how I have to do it now. I have to look at like the weights, and I'm like, oh, there it is, but I have to see it. Otherwise, it's like, nope, can't do it. I suck in math, so
No, you're good. So it seems like you've got a pretty set gym regimen. Little bit of cardio, a little bit of resistance band training on your off days, your light days rather, and then some more, I guess, heavy lifting, more your compounds, your bench presses, and
yeah.
your deadlifts and your squats. I guess what does the diet look like currently? You mentioned that
Oh,
you've cut out the fast food.
yep.
I guess what else you have going on there as far as
Um,
the diet goes?
well, the first thing I do in the morning, like for food, is I'll eat either a banana or an apple, and then occasionally I'll do something that has like that's high in protein. Um, like raisin bran is pretty good for that. I try to avoid most cereals, but there's some good ones out there. And so I go that route. Then after the workout, I usually will have, if I didn't have a banana or an apple, like if I do vice versa. So if I had a banana to start the day, I'll have an apple. After that, then I'll have lunch, and um, usually it's a meat like chicken breast or turkey or ham, like just like a meat, and then dinner is usually just kind of like cutting back. Like I haven't had. I mean, I'll give you an example. I used to be a guy that ordered pizza twice a week. I haven't ordered pizza in April, so since
Wow,
April. Yeah, so pizza places are hurting right now around me. Um, no, but it's. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, uh, yeah. So it's just it's pretty much what I can. I'm a horrible cook, but I can make things. Like I have a microwave, so I know how to heat things, and um, I'll do a couple meals that I buy, like frozen dinners and stuff. As long as they're good in calories and stuff like that, and I'm eating healthy, and um, I'm not miserable. Like if I don't feel like I'm starving, like I know there's a difference with me. I know when I'm either bored eating or if I'm like actually hungry because it goes
Mm-hmm.
based on my mood. If I get like irritated, it's because I know I'm hungry. Like if I'm after I eat, if I'm like in an irritated mood, I just know I'm still hungry. It's what it comes down to. I've That's one thing I've learned about myself, and yeah. So I mean, it just varies. I don't. The one thing is I have to change it up because otherwise, I know if I don't change it up, it'll just get repetitive, and I'll get bored, and something I could take a wrong turn, and that plays a part. Like the wrong turn is that plays a part. Like with my depression, and I also deal with anxiety. So the anxiety like part comes in. I'm always thinking about the what if, like I'm gonna drop the
Mm-hmm.
ball. So I put I try not to put stress on myself because the last thing I want to do is just keep bothering. I don't want to make things worse for myself. So I just try to make a plan, and the only time I reward myself is when I go to a movie.
Hmm.
Um, so I'll get popcorn. I'll get an icy because I don't drink pop or like frozen drink or Coke and stuff like that. But um, so that's how I reward myself with, well, like as far as food, and I just I try to just cut back. There's a book that I used to use called Eat This Not That,
Mm-hmm.
and it would show you what you should order. Like if you go to McDonald's, it would recommend ordering this over the Big Mac and stuff like that. So
Right.
I kind of play that in. I don't use the book anymore, but I play that in my head. Like, okay, well, let's do this. Like, if I go to like a Chipotle restaurant or something like that, like I'm okay. Well, I can save 600 calories by going with this, or
Yeah.
I just play things in my head. Like I just do the things in my head, like which is going to be a better option, and um, so I just try to I just outweigh everything, just kind of just weigh it out, see what is best for me, and I think that was the way to go. Um, because of just the way I am as a person and my mindset,
Yeah.
it it's just worked out that way for me. I think for the best.
Well, and I think there's two very important lessons that people can kind of take away just from what you've said just now is that obviously it's good to stick with a game plan and really kind of know what your boundaries are and recognize yeah, I probably shouldn't be eating this, or
Yeah.
or whatever. But I think it's also just as important on occasion to give yourself those special allowances and those kind of rewards of saying, "Hey, look, I've done a really good job. I mean, I can treat myself to this."
Yeah.
It's just a matter of also balancing that out with again the former. Let's not overdo it, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I can understand where you're coming from there.
Yeah.
Uh,
I see the Rock like on his Instagram. He'll show his cheat days, and I'm like, well, damn, I
Yeah,
can't go that route. But
that's
he's a he's not human, So
yeah,
it's
that man's ridiculous. He works out 3 times a day.
yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, so kind of as we wind down, I've got a couple more questions here for you, Rob.
Okay.
Uh, First, kind of going back to what we just talked about. Um, what lessons have you learned along the way that you wish that you could give yourself earlier? Like have you learned anything that maybe you would pass along,
Well,
to Rob, starting on his journey?
the biggest thing that I told myself from the get go is when I started losing weight, I go, damn, I wish I would have done this 10 years ago. But then I thought about it some more, and I realized, you know what? I would rather do it now than not at all. That was my
Mm-hmm.
biggest. That was my advice to myself at that time. I realized,
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, that's good. Like, it's good to feel that now. What well I if I would say like it's hard to go back to like right before I went with this journey. So if I would say if I went to myself a year from right now to a year ago, I would
Mm.
say, dude, it's not as bad as you think. Just start working. You'll get there faster. Like I said, I wish I would have done it, but um, I'm glad I did it now instead of not doing it at all, because there's always a chance I would have maybe not do it. Maybe if I didn't have that really bad day, maybe I'm just not. I don't know what I'm doing. Like basically, I know I'm probably not doing this interview more than likely if I didn't get to where I am, um, and it's just been good. Like I've um, it's hard because the one thing that's funny is I don't like I never I've always been my worst critic. I think a lot of people are they're
Hmm.
their worst critic, and I've been that way since I could remember. And um, usually when if I was to give myself advice, it would just be it's usually always I would say probably just be like, you know what, you'll be all right. Just it's
Hmm.
kind of like Nike's motto, just do it.
Just
Like
do it.
that's pretty much what I would say, because that's just the way I am. I yeah, it's hard to say because I just have like certain points that I get to, and I just need to basically get to a point where what was best for me. And um yeah, I mean it's really hard to explain there, but I like where I'm headed. I like where I'm at. It's basically the easiest way to say it, and that's how I would tell myself now. Like, you know what, or that's what I would say. Like, you know what, you'll like where you're at. You just got to do it.
Hmm.
And that's what I would say. It's not the best answer, but it's um, I mean, I'd probably make fun of the guy too. I'd probably just take a shot at it, but that's just the way I am. It's just, um,
Well,
but
you also mentioned that you like where you're going. So I guess what are your goals? I mean, I think
yeah,
you maybe posted this on Twitter a few weeks ago as
yeah.
well. Like
My
you have goals that you want to achieve here. I guess maybe what are some goals to you that really kind of help keep you going?
well, my biggest goal right now is to be under 300 pounds. So um, I'm around 338 right now. Um,
Hmm.
my goal is to hit 299.
Okay.
Um, because the reason why it's 299 is because I didn't think it was possible for me to ever be that weight again. Like I was always just um, I was I was always just I always assumed that I was never going to be under 300 pounds
Hmm.
again in my life. And um, that I made my goal when I got this close. I'm like, okay, just do it, man. You're there. You can do it. And I know once that happens, I'm gonna lose my my stuff, my like my I'm gonna lose my crap. Basically, I'm gonna lose
Yeah.
it because it's um,
It's gonna be a
I haven't
big day to celebrate.
yeah, and that's the thing. I've not been one that sets goals like for myself. I rarely do because I just I just haven't been that kind of person. I've always been like I said, I see a therapist, or I talk to a therapist, and one of the things that he told me is, I've told him that I go, one of my biggest problems I think is I always put people like ahead of me. Like I help people out a lot. Like I do. Like I want to I I help people. I prefer to do that. Like I like doing that. And he basically said, you don't have to be an a-hole about things, but sometimes you have to do things for yourself. You have to put yourself first sometimes. And he goes, and that honestly could play like a part in your depression. And he's like, he said it's not, I'm not saying the whole thing plays in your depression, but he said there could be a small part that plays part of it, because you're not getting the satisfaction of getting what you want. And yeah, so I just, as far as like a goal goes, it's hit 299, and then after that, just try to be healthy and happy. That's what it is. Try to, I mean, the one thing I would love is to find that one person for me and maybe start a family one day. So that's always a goal for me. But I can't really necessarily like say, okay, like,
Yeah.
Yep. Like, you're it. Come here. No, I can't do that. But
of course.
But that's the goal. I've and I've kind of like started on that route. Like, I've messed around on like Match, those kind of things, just to try to learn about myself again. Like, I'm like, how do you talk to these people again? I don't get it. Like, because I haven't done that in a long time, so I'm learning again. But yeah, it's just my biggest goal after 299 is just try to do what I can to be happy, and just try to set goals. Like, basically, like, set little goals. Just like, you know what, if I can stay under, if I can stay under 295 for 3 months, I'll do this, or I'll go to Vegas like for a weekend or something like that. Like, that's stuff I'll maybe do. Do I want to lose more than 300? Like, absolutely. I want to get as low as I possibly can and be healthy, but still like add muscle and stuff like that. The thing is, I just want, more than anything, I just want to be happy. And I'm getting there. It's slow, but I'm getting there.
Well, and that's a big part of it is ultimately making yourself happy, right?
Yeah.
So I asked you what advice you would give to yourself. What advice would you give to others here as we kind of close the show? What would you say to somebody who's maybe looking to take the same journey as you, or maybe has thought about it, really kind of unsure? They don't really know if they can break the habits that they have. What advice would you kind of give to somebody?
The first thing I would say to them is, I go, you know what, it's going to be hard, and I'll give you an example. It's the hardest thing I've done, like, with as far as food, because I used, like I said earlier, I used food as a comfort. So when you cut food out as a comfort, you got to try to find other things to do, and
right.
And that was tough. And so what I would say is, I'm like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough, but if you just put your foot down on the pedal, you're going to make it through, and it's going to get easier for you. And that's what I would say. And I go, it was, you have to, and you can't be so hard on yourself. That was the biggest thing too. I was hard on myself, and I still tell people I'm my worst critic, but I know that over time I had to forgive myself for the things that made me like just miserable in life. Like, I felt like it was things I did, so over time I had to say, you know what, it's time. Like, you know what, just whatever I did, like, it's okay. Like, yeah, you're still here. Just do what you got to do. Stuff like that. Like, I forgave myself. And I would tell somebody the same thing. I'm like, if something's like really bothering you, the first thing you should do, honestly, is forgive yourself. Like, if you're in that kind of mindset, because because that'll help you go a long ways too. And I've just been I would just tell them, just expect it to be the hardest thing you'll do. But once you get to a point, once you hit that point, it'll feel like it's smooth sailing from there. It really will. Like I said, I absolutely hate sweating. So that was the one thing I dread the most about when I started working out. I'm like, okay, well, I need to know where these fans are so when I can go sit in front of them, like after I'm like just drenched. And now it's like, okay, you know what? Just stay drenched, and that way I can see the change in my face. Like I take selfies pretty much every day to see the progress, and I've noticed it, which is nice.
I was about to say, I saw a picture of you from a couple weeks ago that you had taken, and I think maybe you've been just after you gotten a haircut, maybe, or
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure, but your face was so much thinner than I remember the last time we spoke, and I was like, man, Rob's really making some progress here, some definite major progress.
Yeah, it's nice. Like that's the thing too that people have noticed. And the one thing that I will say that was really really cool is I see a lot of the same people at the gym. Like when I go, like you see a lot of the same regulars, but then you see some people that you haven't seen before. And in the same day, then this actually happened yesterday. I had two different people come up to me and say, "Hey, man, you're kicking ass. Keep doing what you're doing." I've never talked to these people, and I've never seen them before.
Yeah.
And that just was like, wow. Like, I always felt like I was never seen before, and that just made me feel like even better. And like it got to me. Like I was just really like, wow, I'm doing something. I mean, even the manager of the gym like said, "Hey," he's like, "You're doing good, man. I see it. Like I see it. Like you might not see it, but he's like, I see it. You've been losing weight." So it's a good feeling when you hear that.
For sure, man. Yeah, and keep doing what you're doing, man, because it's you can definitely see it whenever you've posted pictures. It's like you're making some really big progress, and I'm really really happy to see this kind of change in mindset from you, and that you're really doing well. Rob, I want this to kind of be an ongoing thing where we check in
Yeah.
periodically to see how you're doing and the progress that you're making. But where can people find more of you and kind of your content and what you're doing and these pictures that you post on the internet?
Yeah. Well, you can follow me at Rob Wilkins on Twitter. I'm like right there. Right
Dang,
there.
first time you did it.
Yeah, I realized after hosting a show for so many times, I realized like if you watch me, so my show is on Fridays on Fightful Overbooked. I host a show called Coexisting with Rob and Maggie. I have a wonderful co-host. We work just really well together. Like it's just like two peas in a pod. We are fantastic together, and she is awesome. And like I said, her name is Maggie. You can follow me at Rob Wilkins, and we're on Fridays on Fightful's Overbooked channel on YouTube, youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. We talk wrestling. We have we do 2 or 3 stories just of good things that are happening in the world. Like this last week, we talked about dogs that have been adopted. It's like just a good story. Like it's not just all wrestling sometimes. And then I do like at the end of the jokes or end of the day, I'll do like 1 or 2 jokes. Like just to kind of change the mood. It's the easiest way to say it. I'll be flat out honest. It's a show not for kids because Maggie and I kind of forget that we're in front of a camera when we're talking at times. I mean, it's we have a blast. She's awesome. And I also do stuff on FightfulSelect.com. I host all the pay-per-view pre-shows that we do. So like this past weekend, I did Forbidden Door pre-show. We did predictions. We just talked about the show. I'll do one this coming weekend for Money in the Bank. I also do retro reviews, so I'm just staying busy. And I'm also on Fightful.com, so I do some stories. I don't do much because I'm not not like a full-time staff member on the site, but I mean I do other things. So I'm not a full-time news writer, I guess. The easiest way to say it. So I just help out when needed, and I do a couple things for their social media if they need help. But I'm kind of doing like just a little bit of everything that I can for them. I absolutely I love being part of Fightful.com. It's you know, to be honest, I know it's going to sound cocky, but we've been the best when it comes to breaking news for the past probably I would say year. I mean, we've gotten really good and trustworthy, and that goes a long way in this business. If you're trustworthy, that goes. I mean, we're the number one subscribed Patreon like for pro wrestling, and that's huge. I mean, so yeah, so please definitely check me out and follow me on Facebook at Rob Wilkins, and if you want, you can follow Maggie at Maggie underscore IK. Like I said, we're like two peas in a pod, and if you liked me, you'll like her even more. That's the way I always tell people, but it's a blast. I love it, and it's just I'm doing what I love now, so it's great. Life is good for me.
That's awesome, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Wilkins of Fightful, one of the best, most brilliant wrestling historians that I personally know. You can follow us on Twitter at Radio Tekkers. But Rob, it's been a pleasure, and yeah, we'll talk to you again sometime soon. Okay.
Thank you, man. And anytime you need me, you just reach out and I'll do it. We've known each other probably for a good year and a half now, I think. So almost 2 years actually. So
yeah, almost 2 or 3 years going on now. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So definitely reach out and I'll do what I can, because I won't forget the people that have helped me along the way. And you know, like we did that one post show, that AEW post show together. The infamous John Moxley, Kenny Omega,
the explosion.
Yeah, God, that was horrible. But and we were dying, but it was so fun. But yeah, I mean, we have history. So anytime you need me, please reach out. You know, I'll be there. So,
right back at you, man. You know, I love talking to you. So yeah, all right, everybody.
Thank you.